semester of Bio 1140. I'm Dr. Kennedy, and I'll be your teacher this semester. Man, I've got to say, I'm really sorry that it took me so long to get started. I got at school. I came into my office today at 11 o'clock this morning, turned on my computer in the office, and it just wouldn't work. I mean, I've been sitting here for the last 2 hours trying to troubleshoot it. But luckily, check this out. I brought my home computer, and this is the beast, and it worked. So we're good there. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to talk about Bio 1140 now for a few minutes. And if you have any questions on YouTube, you've got the screen over here to your right where you can do a live chat with me, and I'll answer your questions as they come in. Okay, so here's this class, basically. Bio 1140 is a really, really interesting class. And in fact, it's one of my favorites to teach. I think they're all my favorite. I love teaching. Well, at any rate, this class is fully online. We're not going to have any regularly scheduled meetings except for when I go live on YouTube. But if you can't make it, no problem. You'll have this available to you through Learn or through my YouTube channel, Tom Kennedy Science. So no problem there. Okay. Excuse me, I'm drinking some Diet Mountain Dew here. Every day I drink a Diet Mountain Dew and I don't get sick. I guess it's medicinal, right? Just kidding. Mountain Dew has no medicinal properties other than the fact that it makes me very happy. Okay, so this class, like I said, it's going to be totally asynchronous all semester long. We're going to have 12 different learning modules. Now, those learning modules are going to include a lot of different subjects. You see, Bio 1140 is really unique. It's geared a lot toward health-related sciences, but there are also like 10 other majors at the university that require it, including environmental science, including PE teachers, a lot of sports and nutrition, and of course the pre-health. So I've tried to make this class a little bit more geared toward you guys, but also not neglecting the environmental science. And there's a lot of really cool stuff out there about science that I just like to teach about in any intro science class. Okay, so here's how it's going to work. We've got these 12 modules. Each module is per week. So we've got a total of 16 weeks, 12 modules. And then you have 4 weeks for taking tests. And I'll come back to that in a second. But each week, basically, what you're going to have is a learning module, and you're going to have a quiz. So there's 12 quizzes throughout the whole semester. And you have 4 tests. Now, you've also got this other assignment called a Science and Digital Literacy assignment. And each module, all 12 modules, has one of those Science and Digital Literacy assignments. Now, you only need to do 6 of them to be on to complete all of what's required. So 4 tests, 12 quizzes, and then 6 Science and Digital Literacy assignments. And there's also a quiz I put up there on the syllabus. That'll help you. You can take it as many times as you want, no time limit until you get it all right. But the syllabus quiz will help you go through the syllabus throughout so you can understand this class. And then there's an opening survey. And basically, so there's a total of 550 points available for this class. And your grade is based on the percentage of the points you get out of 550. Now, with the quizzes, let me kind of go over a little bit about the grading in this class. So let's start with the quizzes. Each week at 11:59.00 on Sunday night, a quiz is due for each of the modules. You have 2 attempts of those quizzes, and they're timed at 15 minutes, and they come out of a test bank, okay? Now, here's a good thing. If you take all 12 quizzes, there's 12 of them, so take all 12 of them, you can drop your lowest 2. Now, I'm not going to drop any quizzes if you don't take them, so make sure you take all 12 quizzes, and I'll drop the lowest 2. Then there's tests. Each test are going to be over 3 of the modules. They're going to be worth 100 points, and they're going to be mostly multiple choice. I don't have any TAs helping me grade, but I am going to have 1 essay question on each test. And that essay question, I'm hoping you like it, actually. I'll give you the essay questions ahead of time. The tests are timed at 2 hours, open book, open note. I don't care how you take the test. Just, hey, come on, you want to learn the material. So to do what you need to do to learn the material. But the essay, I hope, will be a little bit more on the fun side, and I'll give those to you ahead of time so that you can think about it, write that essay, and then literally cut and paste it right into the test when you take it. So I don't want you having to come up with a nice essay while you're trying to take a multiple choice test. Now, there's 4 tests. So what that means is I'm going to take the first 1, 2, 3, and I'll drop your lowest 1. And then the 4th test, which is in the last week of class, that 4th test is mandatory. And believe it or not, that 4th test is actually the highest test grade of every semester. It gets the highest test average. The class always scores the highest on it. But it's also the last test. I think is some very important stuff, so I want everybody to take it. And it's a little bit of a cumulative final. So that 4th test is mandatory, can't drop it. But tests 1 through 3, you can drop them. Okay. Then we have a science and digital literacy assignment. Now, what I've noticed, and what I'm sure you've noticed as well, is that there's a lot of wrong stuff out there on the internet. Like there's just so much misinformation, disinformation, pseudoscience, you name it. So what the science and digital literacy assignment does is I give you 2 websites, and you have to choose which one of those websites is scientifically accurate, and then you have to explain why. And I'm going to come back to that assignment here in a few minutes because I want to talk more about it. Now, there's 1 for each module, but you only have to do 6 of them. And now, on that being said, if you get the wrong website, it's going to hammer your grade pretty badly. But if you do 9 or more of those science and digital literacy websites, guess what? I will take your best 6 grades. So if you mess up on a couple of them, do extra, at least 9, and I'll drop your lowest grades. Just count your 6 best ones. So that means throughout the semester, you can drop 2 quizzes, you can drop a test, and you can do extra work to get grade replacements on those science and digital literacy assignments. And I'll come back to what those are here in a bit. Now, one other thing, you guys like bonus points? I always like bonus points, man. I always work hard for those bonus points. And I know you guys do too, right? So here's how you can get bonus points. I'm going to come back to that in 1 second. All of the assignments have a due date at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday nights, right? Whether it's a test, whether it's a science and digital literacy, or a quiz. Now, if you missed that 11:59.00 time, I'm not gonna dock points from you. You can still turn it in for full credit. And the reason why I do that is because this world is crazy, and you guys know it. I know it. There's just so much going on with the COVID virus. I have no idea what your lives are like. You saw me this morning. I'm an hour late just because I had to hook up my own computer because this little guy died on me. And I don't have good internet at my house. I know some of you guys might not either. So you can turn in assignments late for full credit all the way up until the last week of class, which is like November 29th. So you miss a test, I don't care. Turn it in. You can turn it in late, and you will still get full credit for it right up until the last week of class. Now, the last week of class, that November 29th through December 4th, if you turn in any late assignment then, it's only worth 75%. And I'm doing that to like incentivize you guys not to load me up with a ton of grading and work in the last week. Now, there's due dates. Well, you're probably going, well, why do those due dates matter? Well, they matter for your bonus points, okay? So you want to get extra bonus? It's like 20 points. That's almost a little under 5% of your grade. You can, if you turn in every assignment, your 12 quizzes, 6 science and digital literacies, and all 4 tests, get them done by their original due date, you'll get bonused 20 points. Just add it to your raw score. So if you're close, if you got an 88 and you had turned everything in, guess what? You go from a B+ to an A- easily. All right. So those bonus points are enough that if you're borderline, it will make a difference. And that's why I made them 20 points. It's not like 1 or 2. It's 20. And also, if you want to get a couple extra points, all the reading in this class is stuff I've written. Now, I don't have a professional editor. I'm good at editing other people's stuff. You all know what it's like to edit your own stuff. So if you find a mistake, shoot it to me. I'll bonus you a point for the mistakes you find in my writings. for the classes. Okay, so we got that down, right? If you turn in 12 quizzes, 4 tests, 6 science and digital literacy assignments on time, you get a bonus of 20 points. If you miss the deadline, it's not a problem. You'll still get full credit right up until the last week of class. Then any assignment that is late, that is turned in after November 29th, I'm going to dock you. It's going to be 75% because I'm trying to keep you guys from inundating me with like just tons of grading at the end of the semester, right? And okay, so I think we're good here. If you guys have a question, go ahead and pop in. You can give me the questions that you have. So that's the grading assignments. Let me talk about how you can lose points. So one of them is on the science and digital literacy assignment. Okay, let's talk about that one for a few minutes. I've actually got on Learn a write-up of how to do these things well. So science and digital literacy, I'm going to give you 2 websites, like the Wikipedia versus Mercola Health. You probably never heard of Mercola, but it's junk science. And well, I already gave away one of the answers right there. Wikipedia, really, really, really accurate. I know it is, I promise you. Despite what you've learned, the Wikipedia is really good. Okay, so the science and digital literacy, you're going to compare 2 websites and you're going to say, this one is an accurate one. That right there out of 20 points is 30% of it, which is basically 6 points. Then you have to explain why. That's going to require 200-word minimum. Now, 200-word minimum does not guarantee a 20 out of 20. It just guarantees you won't get a 0. And an A answer on one of these, you went and looked up who wrote the article. What is the website? What do we know about that website? How does that article fit in with what we know about science? So you might need, my whole life is a lie. Good on Alexis. With the Wikipedia, sorry, you got me off track there. That's funny. Okay, so with an A answer on the science and digital literacies, you might have to do a little bit of outside research and put that in there. And those are like the A answers that really understand why it's accurate. They did a little bit of extra research. There's a citation in there. And usually the A answers, the 20 out of 20s, are about 400 words long. Yeah, not just a 200 minimum. And then also 30% of it is grammar. Now I'm not a grammar Nazi. I don't care if you split your infinitives and have dangling participles. I don't care about that. What I do care about is, was it written well? Did you speak with a voice? People that are sarcastic or speak with good voices, I'll let grammar slide on sometimes if you have a really clear way of talking and writing. But what I do care about is get your grammar down. Like, don't write it like a text message. Capitalize I, capitalize the first words of a sentence. Those things matter. And also make sure that everything is written clearly. That's important. Okay, now, if you don't meet that 200-word minimum, that's a 0. Now, citations, quotations, and your name and the title of it, and also any dates, that stuff does not count towards your 200-word minimum, okay? It's got to be the body of the paragraph. The body of your work has to count toward 200. And if you don't meet 200 words, it's a 0 and you can't replace it. It's there. You've lost your bonus points and that 0 is going to stick with you. And I do that to make sure that everybody follows directions and writes well. And in fact, when I increased the word minimum from 125 to 200, the average grade went up almost a full like 10%. It was great. Okay. So let's see. We've only got one thing about the Wikipedia is accurate. It is actually very accurate. It's as accurate as any textbook you'll ever have, especially in the sciences. And it's actually been researched and tested to show that. So I didn't just make that up. They've actually compared textbooks to Wikipedia and found out the Wikipedia is actually really accurate. And yes, you are welcome to use the Wikipedia in this class. I encourage you to use Wikipedia, Khan Academy, Crash Course, and other websites. Okay, I think I've got all this other stuff here. Yeah, we went over the grades. We went a little bit over the learning objectives. Like I said, each week we'll have a new module. and how to get some bonus points and stuff like that. Okay, now that being said, I'm pretty much done here, but if anybody has any other questions about the class, now's a good time to shoot them to me. Happy to address any of your questions about the class. I know that I'm really looking forward to it. And, even though your assignments don't have a hard due date where you automatically lose points if you miss them, I am setting this up at a work at your own pace, which is something I'm trying to adjust as well as you are to this new time. Please don't get behind. If you start getting behind, something comes up, you have issues in your life. You don't have to share what those issues are with me. That's your own business. But just, hey, a heads up. Hey, I need help. Things are going poorly in my life right now. Could you help me out here? I'm more than willing to work with you on things. Just come to me. Let me know what's going on. And also, whenever you take a test, one of the interesting things about the test is that if I'm not going to be on email on the weekend when it's due, straight up. I need my weekends to go hang out with my family. So if you're taking the test on the weekend, nope. If you have a problem with the question, cut out your question, email it to me, and tell me what you're thinking. Let me know what you're thinking, okay? How would you approach answering that? And I'll get to it on Monday, and don't worry what Learn grades it as. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. Okay, so we got, is buying the book important? Well, here's the good part. There is no book for this class except for what I've posted online. Now, there is an earlier version of this book that I wrote about 5 years ago. I have been updating it every semester since then. I would not spend any money on that original book at all. Everything is posted in Learn as required reading. It's a PDF. Now, that is important. You're going to need to read that. Now, that being said, with the required reading, one of the things that I've done differently is I'm trying to get you guys to become expert learners. So as you read through it, rather than me putting out a bunch of questions and a bunch of vocabulary words, what I want you to do as you go through each chapter or modules and chapters are the same thing. What I would like you to do is you pick out the words that you don't understand. And if you can't understand it from the book, here's the difference between a C student and a B or an A student. A C student will go, oh, okay, well, it looks like this kind of words right here. A B student, oh, I got this, I understand it. And then an A student is actually going to go, I don't understand this word, uniformitarianism. Well, I think it means this. And then they go look it up on the Wikipedia, they look it up on other websites, and they really do extra research beyond what is just in the book to understand what a word like uniformitarianism means. Uniform means everything's the same, right? So uniformitarianism is this concept that the laws of nature, the way things work today, are right here. Like I drop this cap, it drops at 9.8 meters per second squared all the way down to the floor. It drops at the same speed. If I went back 1 billion years in time, it would operate the same way as it did today. So the laws of physics and the laws of nature operate the same in the past, the same everywhere in the universe, and operate the same in the future. That's why it's called uniformitarianism. And an A student will go look that stuff up. Okay, so in the book, I've got questions on there for you to like, what words did you not understand? And then the other one I asked is, what are the key points? What is each section trying to teach you? What are your take-home points? So many textbooks, we just tell you, this is what you're going to learn. Well, what did you think what did you get out of that? And then, of course, we can talk about that if you're having difficulties with that as well. And that's kind of like learning how to learn. You become an expert learner rather than somebody spoon feeding you all of the information. And now that we're in college, what you want to do is learn how to learn. Okay, I got another question. Is the syllabus quiz in chapter 1 already posted? I couldn't find it. Okay, now I've got both of these sections. I've got 2 sections here ready to go right now. Section 100, that was the original online course. I am really sorry, but what happened is I went to go copy and then learn. It doesn't say spring 2020. It gives you some numbers. And well, at any rate, I copied the wrong semester. So I'm going in there, and right now, as soon as I get now that I got my computer going, I'll fix that and I'll have that syllabus quiz and chapter 1 quiz. They should be posted, and all the material will be posted in each week's learning module. So when you go to module 1, you'll have instructional material. That's where I put on YouTube videos. That's where I post the PowerPoints. That's where I post the reading. And then you'll see required stuff, and that's where you'll find your chapter quizzes, and you'll also find your science and digital literacy assignment. Okay. So yeah, I'll definitely get that stuff up today for you guys. And I'll also, if you've noticed, I don't have all the chapters available right now. I'm working on getting all of them posted, and I just have to update dates from the last time I used it, and I had all of that done here by the end of the week for the rest of the semester, basically. So that's good. Okay. I think I've just about covered everything. One other thing that I have started to do is I've always loved to do multimedia. I'm on Facebook, Tom Kennedy Science. I created a YouTube channel, Tom Kennedy Science. And then I've always loved watching YouTube videos. And then in this pandemic, right? How many of you are suffering death by YouTube? Yeah. I don't know. I can't really tell if you're nodding to me or not, but man, it seems like every class went to a 10-minute lecture, a quiz, or watch this video, watch this video, watch this video, watch this video. And as much as I love YouTube, I still have lots of YouTube videos. I am making additional YouTube videos, but I have gone into podcasting. I think that's where a lot of it is at. And my podcast is called Tom SciCast. And I actually will post podcasts in to learn that are directly related to the material we are learning. And in fact, the first podcast that I posted called What is Science is basically I turned that first chapter into a podcast. And throughout the semester, I'm going to be adding additional podcasts every week for you guys specifically that will cover the material that would be in class or in the lecture or in the required reading. Now, I'm not going to add anything into a podcast that will be on a test that won't be covered in the reading, a PowerPoint, or one of the required videos. So I'm not going to add anything to the podcast that you're going to be responsible to know. It's just another way for me to reach you guys. So when you're driving or walking or working out or whatever, you can listen rather than being forced to sit in front of a computer and watch lots and lots and lots of videos. Okay. Well, I'll be around for the rest of the day. If any of you come up with any other questions, let me know. I don't see any other popping up right now. So I'm going to sign off. And the last thing I'm going to say is that I will continue to go live every Thursday around noon. So I know today was Monday as my welcome to the class, but from now on, I'm going to go live on Thursday, including this Thursday as well. And I got to thank you. And I said, you're welcome. You know, I'm glad you guys like this. And I'm also taking suggestions too. If you have any ideas of things that really work well for you in this online environment and things that just drive you nuts, let me know. Okay. I don't want to drive anybody nuts. I don't want to make you think you're doing busy work. That's not my intention to ever do busy work or to do stuff that you just find tedious. I hope that this stuff is kind of interesting to you. All right. Well, I'll see you guys on Thursday.